Today's guest conversation is with the owner, operator of the Field General Academy in Elkhorn, Nebraska, and he's widely considered one of the premier catching coaches in all of baseball. You can find him on social media at Goodro Catching. Here's Mr. Tyler Goodro on episode 67 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Tyler, what's going on, man?
Not much. I appreciate you having me on, Ross. It's looking forward to the conversation, and obviously, and it's in your title of your show, but pushing this game forward.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'll lead off by saying this. I love your accent. I can hear it. I know you're from Omaha. Hey, I got family from all over South Dakota, Minnesota area. Yeah. So it comes out in my voice. I love the upper Midwest accent. So if you hear me start talking like that, I'm adapting to you. But man, I'm excited. I'm excited to chat with you. And let's lead off with this for those of you that you'll listen to this on Spotify, Apple. But for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, Mr. Tyler has a shirt on that says Hall of Fame, check Barry Bonds. Hey, that's intentional, my friend. You know people watch you. I love it. And I cannot. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest hitter of all time. Go.
Absolutely. So, for me, I mean, catching's kind of my niche, my passion, everything. But to break up monotony from time to time, I love doing hitting stuff. And Barry Bonds is the example. And whether you agree with what he did or what he didn't do, again, just greatest hitter of all time, in my opinion. I have two sons. They both hit left-handed. So every time to time they try to mimic, and believe it or not, everybody's always joke with me, friends of mine, hey, you have a 9-year-old. How the heck does he know who Barry Bonds is? And it's just like, he watches the game, he sees it. And I just keep telling him from time to time, here's a guy that I would try to emulate after, obviously whatever he did off the field, or while he was playing. I think we were talking about this prior to jumping on and hitting the record button, but I believe that there's plenty of people that are in the hall that may have done some things that they should have been doing. Now, that's the era, that's the generation. They weren't testing for it. I mean, I think I was watching a documentary the other night called Hall of Shame, and it just wasn't a thing at that time. Yeah, people were doing it. The owners didn't stop their guys. Like Alex Rodriguez is my favorite player of all time, believe it or not, being a catching guy, but Alex Rodriguez is my favorite guy of all time. And I can't remember. I think his name was Hicks. Was the owner of the Rangers at the time.
Skip Hicks.
Yeah. Didn't stop him though.
Yep.
He didn't stop him because he was bringing in obviously revenue in terms of ticket sales and merchandise and whatnot. And so, they could afford to pay Alex at the time, and so on and so forth. But, I think a lot of those guys, they understand what they did. And, I don't want to say this is going to get controversial, but you always have to question yourself. Had I made the money at that time, or if I was playing at that time, would I have done it to prolong my career? You have to obviously have a deep conversation within yourself internally. I remember going back to, this had to have been when Joe Madden took over the Angels, and one of the lines he was talking to his players, they're out in the middle of center field, I think, of Angels Stadium out there. And he was talking about, when you get into this game, being a big leaguer is one thing. Like you get to the show, and but you play there as long as you can. You try to stay there as long as you can. You try to make the most amount of money as you can. And it's sad to say, but like, it's a business, man. Like if we were doing some other job right now, I would try to do my best, to make the most amount for my family and help my family out in that sense. But as far as the physical talent is concerned, I mean, 5-tool player, probably the quintessential besides like Millie Mays or, when he was in his prime, Mickey Mantle, but like 5-tool player, hands down. So yeah, it is intentional, I would say.
Hey man, and you know what? I love it because we're from the same generation, Tyler, and I feel robbed because I don't really care. I don't care. Listen, I understand. It's not about steroids or not steroids, but what that man meant to us growing up. Like it was 2004, the season that he had. Right. I mean, it was like he got one pitch to hit a game, and it was a home run. He was walked 3 times a game, and I just he is that whole era. I feel robbed. So I'm glad to see that you're wearing the Barry Bonds shirt because I second that. Man, and I want to get into what you got going because man, it's special. I told you as we started, it's a pleasure to talk to you because man, I've been watching I watch your stuff on all the social media stuff, and if you guys don't know Tyler Goodro, you've probably been living under a rock for the last however many years you've been doing this, but at Goodro Catching, dude, your content is fantastic. And I think what me and my business partners do with Baseball Forward is we want to align ourselves with guys that get it, that move the game forward, that put kids first, that put development. Man, you check all those boxes. So I want to say well done on the content and loving the game so much. Where did the love of the game come from?
Gosh, early on. So I actually grew up in a single parent family. My dad was a very good baseball player. Actually, I've had quite a bit of baseball legacy in my family. My uncle, well, let me start at my grandfather. I mean, this going all the way back to one of my grandfather, who I never met. It was a catcher, American Legion baseball, actually caught Bob Feller. And those are some of the stories that I got. Yeah. And then come from a very athletic family on my mom's side for sure. My and this is not baseball related, but of course just showing the athleticism and stuff of our family. But we had a very tall family. Like I'm 6'4".
Oh, wow.
But a bunch of my uncles, I had an uncle that was 6'8", played football at the University of Tulsa. The middle uncle of my mom's side, they always would say he was the best athlete out of both of them, but he was about 6'3", 6'4". And then my mom's youngest brother, he was 6'7". He was a first-round draft pick out of high school from, here in Omaha. Went to Omaha Creighton Prep High School, powerhouse in baseball here.
Yeah.
He, first round, 1970 draft. So kind of give you the idea
of
what the
you're
money that he got.
Yeah,
right. He was supposed to go 1-1, believe it or not, but they took a catcher. Yeah, San Diego had the first pick, I think, that year. They took a catcher, but he was the 9th overall with the Dodgers. At the time, I mean, I hear stories about, Tommy Lasorda coming to my parents' house way back in the day. And now he wasn't the manager at the time. It was Walt Alston was the manager, but Tommy was AAA manager in Albuquerque. And then obviously eventually became, a Hall of Fame manager with the Dodgers and stuff for so long. But that's kind of where it started. Then my mom, married my biological dad. He was a catcher, of course. So had a pitcher, right-handed pitcher in our family. And then, I was, a catcher. My dad was a catcher. Started out playing at the University of Texas, El Paso. No longer a baseball team there.
Really? Your dad played at UTEP?
UTEP, yes.
Really?
Exactly. Yep. Back in the day when
That's
they had
cool.
a team. Yeah. So that would have been right around, I want to say 1976, I believe.
Okay.
So anyways, they're playing in this is what my dad told me. They're playing in a series at Arizona State. Arizona State was number 1 team in the country at the time. And my dad, I think, had the only 2 RBIs in a 3-game series. And he's talking to the umpire. He goes, "Hey, I have a really good connection up to Yavapai Junior College up in Prescott, Arizona. There's a friend of mine. He just took over the program up there.
Gary Ward.
Why don't you get Gary Ward?" So my dad played on national championship team for Gary Ward. That following year in 1970, was it 77, I believe? 1977 or so. That's when Ward took his about nine players from Yavapai to Oklahoma State. So my dad was on his inaugural Oklahoma State team.
How cool!
Solid player. My dad was a catcher. I will tell you this: he didn't finish out just because baseball wasn't a priority to him. And there was a young player by the name of Mickey Tettleton who was playing right field.
Oh, yeah.
They decided, man, let's put him behind the plate. So Mickey Tettleton, who obviously had a illustrious career in the big leagues, took out. But anyways, so I have an older brother. We're about 16 months apart. So we're semi-Irish twins, you could say. His love was basketball. So he loved basketball. My love was baseball. I was right-handed. He was left-handed. So hard to make a left-handed catcher for sure.
Yeah.
But I just love baseball. I don't know what it was. Always a student of the game. My dad wasn't around. My parents got divorced when I was very young. So I just kind of had to teach myself the game. And I was, became a catcher because I was right-handed. My brother wasn't a catcher because he was left-handed. So just, again, developing the love of the game. Was very good back there. Everybody always questioned my height. And nowadays at that time, I would always say Joe Mauer, like Joe Mauer,
Yep.
Joe
Absolutely.
Mauer, back in the day it was probably Carlton Fisk. There were tall catchers, Ted Simmons, like a bunch of dudes that were tall, and everyone's like, oh, you're a catcher, Even to this day, I mean, I was doing a camp in Cincinnati last week, and I'm getting back. I'm in the airport, and this guy's talking to me. He goes, "Hey, what position you play in football?" And I'm like, "Oh, believe it or not, I'm not a football player. I was a baseball player for X amount of years." And he's like, "Oh, well, what position? You're probably a pitcher, weren't you?" And I said, "No, believe it or not, I was a catcher." And he goes,
"Wrong again."
And, yeah, wrong again. Exactly. But it just grew for me, and I was non-drafted. Was fortunate enough to meet some people here in Nebraska. There's a NAI school called Bellevue University.
Oh yeah.
There was a guy, his son was here. His name is Gil Reyes Sr. and his son, Gil Reyes Jr., was playing on this NAI team. And I was catching this. I was done playing. And I was catching his son, and he's like, I was telling his son prior to this, I was like, I really want to play at the next level. What, is there any opportunity your dad could maybe help me? So he did. He made a phone call down to Dodgers, and was invited down to catch briefly. I was basically the punching bag, right?
Yeah. So what?
Didn't really get to do a whole lot of stuff that most everybody that had contracts did, but was there, got to experience, had a independent ball contract. Played with the San Angelo Colts. I see your Texas hat and stuff, and I know your background a little bit too. So, but I was when San Angelo, there was the Independent Baseball League down there. So it was San Angelo, Amarillo, Laredo, Harlingen.
Holy buckets! Laredo and Harlingen having to travel down there.
Oh, it was brutal. You have no idea. When we went to Harlingen, it's kind of not a little side story here. We get there, and manager, he was about 70 some years old at the time, didn't really think anything of it, but we roll in there and there's cockroaches around. It was just, but that's it. That's what you live for, right? I mean, like, what's the saying, as they say, you don't like it, play better.
That's right.
But it was interesting. I got sick down in, I think it was the Harlingen trip. I got bit by so many different bugs that I had like 100 and some degree fever. It was like it was bad. But no, again, it's just like, those are memories that you hold on to forever. But I think it shaped me as a coach and created more of a passion. I went through, call it what it is, I went through hell for some kids to hopefully have a better experience and play this game as long, if not longer, than I did. So I guess that's where it all started. Sorry,
dude. You know what I love? Talking with Tyler Goodro on the episode 67 of the Baseball Forward podcast today. Tyler, what I love, man, I can tell when I'm talking with a baseball guy when they talk about the history and like your understanding of who came before you. Like, there's not that many people out there like that anymore. I pride myself in gosh, I love this game so much and I respect it. You brought up Lasorda. I got a Lasorda story. I was drafted by the Dodgers. Hey, I met him butt naked in Vero Beach. He comes walking with a towel. I'm walking out of the shower. Hey, nice to meet you. And then you brought up Gary Ward and the reverence that you talk about these gentlemen with. Dude, I'm the exact same way. Coach Ward is actually a part of Baseball Forward. Dude, it's unbelievable. And I've become friends with him over the last year. And awesome. It has been one of the highlights of my baseball life, because when you're around him, it's different. He's 84. He's still sharp, and it'll be coming here with Baseball Forward, but the amount of content that he's putting together for us, books and all that stuff, it's unbelievable. And then you said, what was the other one, man? Whatever. But here's what I want to say to you. It makes sense. Yeah. Just that brief 10-minute conversation right there. It makes sense to me why people flock to you for catching.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Because you love the game and you can't fake that stuff. So let's get into this. Boy, we're in a different era. I'm not saying it's bad, but we're in a different era of baseball. I I could have never have caught. I remember in 8th grade, I got hit in the arm. I went to block a curveball that was supposed to go in the dirt. Kid foul tipped it, hit me. I'm like, I'm done. That's too much. But
I got some catcher ink here. I don't know if you can
oh,
see it, but
golly, yep.
just to kind of
You know it.
remind myself, hey, yeah. I mean, call it coy, whatever, but yeah. I mean, I got to have some catcher ink here,
Dude.
for sure.
But I'll tell you what, the position of catching has changed so much.
No doubt.
I can't imagine how much how you've processed it all. So I'm curious to get your take, being the catching guru that you are, Mr. Tyler Goodro on episode 67 of Baseball Forward Podcast. Hey man, what do we think? Knee down, the new school concept of catching. Walk me through that. And what do you think?
Well, let me say this real quick. So before we jump into all that, I want to say something about Coach Ward real quick. Again, my dad played for him and everything, and I remember watching this video, and I still have this ingrained in my brain from all these years ago. But there was a video of him talking about hitting. He's like, "Here's the definition of hitting: the sequential unlocking of body parts to maximize bat speed from head to toe." And so I still remember that. I mean, this is like 15 years ago when I learned that from him. But anyways, I've only spoken to Coach Ward on the phone when he was at New Mexico State and he was recruiting. And biggest regret I made was not going to New Mexico State. But anyways, that's that. But
he'll love hearing that, by the way. And I'll make sure that we send this and then we'll get you guys connected. But keep going, man.
Absolutely. So as far as catching is concerned, so I look at it this way from just baseball perspective. Change is the hardest thing to do, right? Whether that be, from a hitting perspective, pitching perspective, arm angle perspective. But I think a lot of things is just knowing what we know now. There's so much more information to identify what limitations athletes have. And I go back to when I was telling you about the height of what I am. I'm 6'4".
Yep.
I was limited and restricted in mobility. And I will tell you this, I was a traditionalist for a very long time. Watching guys and saying, well, what is a catcher? How do we grade catcher? I still think it's this day, or how we evaluate catching, whether we're recruiting or we're scouting, and how we get them there first. I was a Division I coach for back in season. I was a 2023 season, 2024 season, excuse me. And when I was going out recruiting catchers, I was looking for two things. Number one, can they hit? Number two, can they throw? Because I knew where we've migrated to, I would be able to adjust the way that they, number one, understood their bodies. Number two, how they set up in positions. And then, how they played the game within the game, so to speak. So as far as where we started at, the first thing I looked at was, and I look at, two people that kind of have allowed me or pushed me to, again, reassess how we either coach this game. We look at the position, how we reassess, how we coach the position, look at the position, and then where we go from there. And it's all individualized based. I think we've had so many biases about, you got to be super wide. You got to have your glove target still. Yeah. The pitcher throws to here. Well, then there's these guys that are throwing hard. There's these guys that have so much, nasty late movement, late action to their ball, whether that's ride, sink, sweep, whatever it might be. And we were watching it. And in the old school game, I remember COVID happened, and we were watching, they're putting old games on. You're like, man, that's terrible. Like, how's this guy doing this? Like, he's just getting the ball's just ripping him out of the zone, as opposed to him, being strong behind it. But I was challenged by two people. One person in particular is Ryan Cianco, who's with the Detroit Tigers. They're catching coach of the Detroit Tigers. The other one was Tanner Swanson, who's with the Yankees. And he's kind of like, those two guys, in my opinion, are kind of pace setters in this realm, or in this position itself. Ryan was very, very good about understanding how to move the baseball. And then Tanner was obviously the guy that was the patriarch as to pushing guys back down to the ground and getting lower, and understanding what concept we need to adapt to. And I think a lot of the times people are we're in positions that don't make sense for something that is situational versus the transaction of it. Right. Well, Can I throw the guy out from this position better than if I'm in a certain stance? Probably, but what is that going to restrict me doing? Probably blocking a ball middle,
Sure.
believe it or not, because of how high my butt is and how high my glove is and how fast the pitch might be coming down, right?
Wow.
And vision and my eyes and everything like that. So I remember watching this this ABCA video from Tanner, and Tanner talked about chaos and how we instruct and how we do. And what I started to do, this is kind of going into how I've adjusted my academy and what I've done with my academy. I was doing it 1 day a week, 4 times a month. And I'm like, this is just not enough for kids to really grasp, understanding of, how to develop, how to prepare, all the chaos that they're going to face. So we changed our model around. And so we started doing an unlimited service where it was, you pay X amount of dollars and you come as often as you want throughout the month. And what was that getting you? That was getting you up to 10 hours a week of training. You could, no day was the same other than like your mobility routines, I call it movement prep more than mobility, but like movement prep, like
movement prep.
Movements that are going to happen during the game and positions that you're going to feel and strength, whether you do them, out of a traditional, you do them out of a knee down setup. So it was building that kind of core foundation of those movements. But that's something that's very similar. But again, going back to it, it's just like, these kids aren't getting enough reps. The other thing too is this: I'm in a cold weather state. A lot of these kids don't throw enough. They don't practice enough. One of their practices 1 day a week will be, infield stuff, and they might throw maybe once, and then their next practice is going to be an all hitting day. So they're hitting, so they're not throwing. So how often are they throwing? Are we getting their arms in shape and prepared?
Seriously.
So I looked at it from a couple different ways, and then it was, again, it was kind of narrowing it down to the individual itself. Like, what can they do and what can't they do? I'm a big believer in stance setups and transitions from your relax or your signal stance position into your stance. And then identifying and asking the athlete, what can you do? What can't you do? And we can all sit there behind a machine with our left knee down and just sit there and just rip balls all day long like this. But when it matters in the game, when a guy's got a 0-2 count and he's all of a sudden he decides he's just going to absolutely freaking just nail just this nasty
bury
slider
one
down. Bury one. Am I going to get my body in position to block it? Or is it in the air long enough to where I can catch it? Or if there's a runner on first base, can I get my body in position ready to throw? Man. So it's just a lot of that. It's a lot of, a buddy of mine calls it self-discovery. I think it's the same thing. We look at it from a 10,000 foot overview, not just, siloing into one skill itself.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That is so, I've never thought about catching like that, how individualized it really can be, what you're capable of doing. That makes total sense. I got to believe, man, that talking with Tyler Goodro on the Baseball Forward podcast, I always get that in. I got to do it. I feel like I'm a pro when I do it.
You are a pro.
Hey, but I feel like you said that you when you were at University of Nebraska Omaha, when you went and evaluated guys, hit, throw. So you didn't even say blocking, because when we were it was catching, receiving, throwing, right? Blocking. I feel like it's gonna more guys can do it now. And athletes can get back there, and it might be better for them. Like after all these years, like I can't imagine doing it the way you did it, getting down every single time, squat, like you're squatting. And then so is it to wrap that part of it up in your assessment? Is it going to help catchers? Does it help high school guys maybe discover a position that maybe they didn't ever think they could be? Do you like where the state of catching is, and do you think it's beneficial for the long term in the game?
100%. I love it. I love where it's at. I think, I was asking myself this the other day. It's and this is post this camp that I did in Cincinnati. So we always think about taking somebody and converting them from, like, so let's say shortstop to catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And you got guys like JT Realmuto, former infielder when he was in high school, convert to a catcher. I think he got released a couple months ago, but Austin Barnes, when he signed with the Marlins, he was a shortstop or second baseman, convert to catcher. You know, Biggio, Craig Biggio.
Russ Martin. Russ Martin was a third baseman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep. Jose Trevino. The only reason I remember that is because the conversations that I've had with Trevino, but also Oral Roberts was in the conference that we coached in. And, you know, he was a third baseman in college before he became catcher.
I didn't know that.
But I also look at it from the flip side, and I started to question myself, well, like, okay, Biggio's caught, and he moved to second and center field and then back to second base. And then Bryce Harper, when he was drafted, he was a catcher, and they were going to start him there. And then Will Myers, who was with the Royals and Padres, he was drafted as a catcher, and now they moved him outside of it. Oh, yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of different, like, I was looking at it from one side. We always are quick and easily adapt from one side. Or back in the day, what they do for guys, you know, oh, he struggles, you know, he's not a good mover. But he can hit. Let's move him to first base. And that's what happened to me towards the tail end of my career. And then I moved back behind the plate. You know, they were like, all right, well, number one, I sucked at first base. I was not confident. I mean, I'll never forget this. One of my good friends was in his wedding. He's pitched in the big leagues a few years and stuff like that. He's a scout now with the Twins. But I got released from a team, came to more of our local independent team, and he was pitching there. I mean, this guy's good friend, off-season catch partner, caught his bullpens and all this stuff.
What's his name?
Playing for Joe Basinius is his name.
Okay, all right.
So Joe, Joe, I think got a cup of coffee with Nationals, Phillies, and maybe one other team. But anyways, he threw like $1 billion to home plate when the time where it was just kind of like unheard of for guys to do that. So he's playing first base, and Joe he was a big leaguer. Like, he was just a big leaguer. You know, it was him playing big league baseball against JV guys. Like, that's what it was. But like, a ground ball is hit to me, and there's this big ass left-handed hitter that comes to the plate, and I'm playing first base. And I basically signed because the year before I played first base for the manager that was now the hitting coach for this squad. So that's why he brought me in, and I was a local guy and all this stuff. So it was nice. Anyways, so the ball's hit to me, and if I would have just stood my ground, the ball would have hit me like right here. But no joke, I don't know why I did this. I was like, oh, it's going to take a terrible hop right here. I jump up and it goes through my legs, and I feel like Bill Buckner.
Buckner.
Yeah. I'm just like, what in the hell? I look at Joe.
And you're a catcher,
like,
man.
Yeah, I'm a catcher.
You're used to the contact.
I just hate it. I don't know what it was.
That's crazy.
The year before, our third baseman, he was supposed to be heir apparent to third base when Chipper Jones left. And I don't know anybody that wanted to take that. It's like somebody taking over shortstop for Jeter. But he left the game with like a hamstring injury. So they're like, anybody play third base? I was like, fuck, I'll do it. Like, if you just get me in the game. And I think I fielded a ground ball. I was playing short left field, by the way, when I was at third base, and it was in Amarillo, matter of fact. And this is before, what are they, the sod poodles now?
Yeah, sod poodles. Yep.
Yeah. So this is an independent team. This field, you felt like you were at like the stockyards, right? That's how the dirt was. It was just brutal. I feel the ground ball. I'm like, man, I feel like A-Rod. Like I was telling you, I feel like A-Rod, you know, favorite player. Get up, take a couple shuffles, and I just heave that thing right into the first base bleachers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is going on here? I'm like, all right. I went up to the Skip, and I was like, Skip, man, yeah, don't put me there. Don't put me there. Just put me behind the plate.
I'd like to catch, please. I'd like to catch, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, hey, that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. Talking with Tyler Goodro on episode 67 right now. It's fun to listen. You seem self-deprecating. You don't like baseball's freaking hard.
It is.
And if you take yourself too seriously, raising my hand. Like, I'm like, what was I thinking? Why was I so hard on myself? Because now I'm just like, this stuff, it's not so hard, you know?
Right.
But failure is part of the game, you know,
It is.
and did you always have kind of a easy breezy? Did you have to accept failure? Did you have an easy breezy mentality when you were as a baseball player? Did because I the reason why I ask is I'm like, I feel like catchers, golly, there's no position like it in the world. I mean, you
Right.
like you take a beating and you got to be so intense every
Yeah.
single pitch. So I can't imagine you can take yourself too seriously. Um, you'd burn out, I'm thinking. So
Yeah.
when I say that, what comes to mind?
So yeah, I think high school was fairly easy, I would say. I think I was just, you know, I was a guy, I was a dude. Like I'll say that. Like I'm not shy to say that.
Go, baby.
I get to the University of Arkansas, so that's where I started my collegiate career at, was University of Arkansas. And that at the time, Arkansas was a top 25 school. Now they're a top 3,
Yep.
right? Every year, I feel like. But it was the SEC. I was like, man, like I'm going there. I'm a dude. I was a late sign, still could be late signs and still make impacts and stuff, but I was a late sign there. And I get there and there's 4 dudes behind the plate and there's 4 dudes at first base. And
Wow.
then there's going to be 4 or 5 dudes competing for a DH role.
Yep.
The talk was that this guy was going to go from the original guy who was playing first base because he had labrum surgery, but he hit 18 jacks in the
Brady
SEC the year
Toops.
before.
Brady Toops. Does that sound? Was it Toops?
Toops was there, but it wasn't Brady. Brady was it was Danny Hamlin was his name.
Okay.
Hamlin was supposedly supposed to go back to third base. Well, my roommate when I was at Arkansas was Logan Forsythe, who ended up playing in the big leagues for a few years, and but they brought him in, and you know it's so funny. I was always questioning myself, like, what was I doing? What can I do? You know, again, I've never had to compete, and that's I think the hardest thing in just baseball now. When you go from high school to college, and college, some guys never have to compete for a position.
That's right.
So they don't know what that's like.
Wow.
And so that was very hard on me when it came to the failure aspect. I mean, if I wasn't, the first guy I faced, I'd never seen this ever, this pitch ever, this speed ever. The first guy I faced was our closer who was throwing 97. And again, at that time, what the hell? Like, where'd that come from? Then the next guy I faced is our Friday night guy, left-handed pitcher who was a supplemental pick, threw 92 to 94 from the left side. I'm like,
oh god,
what in the world? And that's just different animals and stuff. But it was difficult. Like we were never pushed in high school when it came to the weight room. At Arkansas, different animal. We're getting up at 4:30 in the morning. We're doing all this stuff. I remember one of the guys who eventually was our catcher. Not a big fan of the guy, but like I left Arkansas, but like he was like, God damn, why are we here at 4:30 in the morning? There's nobody that's up in the SEC right now that's at 4:30 in the morning. Well, we had to. And it was more of a mental, mental toughness builder. We're running stadiums at 5 o'clock in the morning, like in the football stadium. We're pushing weight. We're doing sand runs, in the sand pit at 4 or 5 o'clock. It was just crazy. And then they always say, okay, it's not mandatory. Well, it was. You're in a SEC program. It was. I'm sure. I don't know what it's like now. I can only speak to what I know. But we were, it was like, oh yeah, if you want optional hitting's at 12:30. Well, my last class was like, I was trying to sneak out of my last class to get down there because you had to set the field up. You had to set the field up, and it was like, it's not optional, or it's optional, but it's not.
Yep.
So if you're not there, so you're practicing from 4:30 in the morning, essentially, like with your strength and conditioning, till 7 o'clock. I remember I had to run across campus,
study table.
Study table. I mean, it was 4:30 to like 7 lifting at the weight room.
Golly.
Go back to my dorm, shower up, run across campus, go to class from 8:15 to like noon. And then I didn't have a vehicle down in Fayetteville, so I was running 2 miles to
Are you
our
freaking
ballpark.
serious?
Oh
But
yeah, it's
oh
crazy.
my, nobody picked you
And
up?
well, there were times that people would, but majority of the time I would run or walk or whatever it might be if I had more time in between.
Wow.
You get there and you're having to set the field up, and like you're eating, in between your run to get there. And then it was, could have been a speed day, could have been an individual defensive day, and then you're scrimmaging. I mean, you're there from the field 12 to 5 o'clock. You got to go back. You got to try to eat something before the dorm or the training table closes down. Then you got to go to study hall, and you had to get 3 hours a day of study hall, and then you're going to bed. It's just cyclical, but it was tough. It was tough for sure. I think I just didn't accept that failure. I just didn't accept it. It was tough for me. I was like, I was the best, but I think later down the road, I think it really helped me. I realized that I was not the best, but I was striving to be. I was always, as opposed to me looking, I was always trying to compete against other people as opposed to compete against myself.
Man.
And it changed the way as I got later along that I approached my off-season training, what I was doing, how I was doing it, when I was doing it, and then jumped in and went to a JUCO and had a really good opportunity and did really well there. It was a little bit different. Obviously there weren't really any rules, so you could hold 48 guys on a roster. And I was probably 49 or 50 when I was at Arkansas, and then you go to JUCO and it's totally different.
You're back to being the man.
You're back to being the man, and you're practicing year round, and you're learning. There's things that you learn. That was the other thing too. I tried to be a sponge. I think that's the other thing as being a catcher. You're very observant. You try to learn as much as you can. You ask as many questions as you can. And I think in between that, I knew I wanted to play Major League Baseball, or at least I wanted to play Major League Baseball. I think that's every young player's goal is to play as long as you can. And I thought I had the talent to do it. Maybe I was a little bit boisterous in thinking so. But when I got to Cincinnati, I was like, man, I'm pretty good. I feel pretty good. I understood the baseball IQ, my awareness, what I was doing on the field, but I just didn't have the opportunities there because I feel like, and it's probably a deeper conversation, but I feel like the JUCO that I was at, when I was leaving, I had offers from other places that I wasn't being told about. And I feel like this coach was holding things back for me. And now, is that true? Maybe it is. I believe, it's probably 90% true. So I end up at the University of Cincinnati, and, again, I looked at failure differently. Like, I felt like I was better than what they had there in the pool that they had at those positions that I mentioned earlier: catcher, first base, and DH. And I'll never forget this. I tear my meniscus in the middle of fall, a week before our pro day. So, I mean, I don't know how much that would have really mattered, but tore my meniscus. And so I was on the shelf. All I could do was basically stand at first base and just catch balls. They let me hit, which I thought I hit pretty well.
But once you get injured, they're just like, he can't do anything for us. What's the best availability? Or the ability is the best ability is availability, right?
Yeah, exactly. No doubt. And after that whole thing happened, I actually fly home, get my knee, just the cartilage kind of shaved off a little bit. I had done my right one at the end of my high school career, but I get back and I'm like, man, I'm trying to make up for lost time. So I'm getting 1-2 at bats a day at most. Some guys, I played with Josh Harrison, who just finished up his big league career this last year, and Josh, great athlete, unbelievable, just hit tool number one. The dude just could find barrels all the time. I mean, we played in a series against Louisville, not to steer it away, but Josh was 12 for 12 against our series against Louisville, just batted 1,000 against them. But anyways,
not bad. Not a bad
Yeah, not
weekend.
bad. But like Josh is getting 6 to 8 at bats a day. I'm getting like 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is going on here? So I approached the coach and I just said, hey man, like, I feel like I'm making up for lost time. And he's like, well, here's the way I see it. And just pulls me aside. We're like 2 weeks away from going and playing against preseason ranked the Miami Hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, you're the way I look at it is you're third in line for catching, you're third in line for first base, and you're third in line for DH. So I really want you to enjoy your time here. And I was like, what the frick, man?
That's
like,
not what I'm
what's
here
going
for.
on?
That's not
Yeah,
what I'm
exactly.
here for.
And I'm here to play. And I said, I know I'm better than that guy. I know I'm better than that guy. I know I'm better than that guy. So we go down to Miami. I travel. Everything's good. Or, well, not good, but like I'm not playing. But
Yeah.
Friday night game, we end up losing 3-1. Saturday, we end up losing like 6-4, and then show up to the ballpark. And my name's in the lineup, and I'm DH. I'm batting 7th. And there's guys that leave Miami, Florida with 0.000 as their batting average. And I get a chance to start, and I think I go 2 for 2 and
let's go.
Hit a linear up the middle. And I think I hit I don't know if it was a double to right center or left side. I can't remember what side of the, and then I laid a sacrifice bunt down. And so I did my job is what I did, but like I left there with the batting average, but that whole year I pretty much DH'd. I got 88 at bats that year, hit 400 in the Big East and 352 overall. But like, I just never could feel that, or I could never understand like why. And I feel like I should have been in position, but what it did for me, Ross, was that it made me question, well, maybe he's challenging me. Maybe he's trying to get me better. And believe it or not, like that's how I just took it. I graduated there. I had a year of eligibility left. I was like, is this the best chance and opportunity for me to succeed and continue to play this game because I want to play this game longer? It probably wasn't. So I elected to, well, first off, I graduated early and I elected to get out of there. And my uncle, the one that I was telling you about earlier, that was a first round draft pick, he had friends of friends. And there was a team in, Tucson. They were Tucson Toros. And it was an independent team.
Absolutely know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was like, hey, I got an opportunity for you to go play down here. And then the Dodger thing came along. And then I ended up going and playing, independent ball in the independent baseball league. I think it was what it called, or I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, and when I got there, again, I was the better catcher, but they had this guy who was an Angelo State grad right inside, San Angelo.
Yep.
And he was supposedly, and what the manager told me, this manager has spent, half a decade and pretty much his entire life in professional baseball. It's like, oh yeah, he's a prospect. The Braves wanted to sign him. Well, he was bigger than a house, and he was kind of a one-tool player. He could hit from the left side, and that was about it. Couldn't throw. They needed probably a cutoff man to get the ball to second base. But again, it was just, I was always constantly pushing it back, or getting pushed back and pushed down. And I think it just really, again, led me to where I'm at today, and just how I approach coaching and how I listen to the player. I think we have, as a society, number one, it's not the FUs and the MF, we're going to MF you and to try to get you to, ignite where you're at right now, or whatever it might be, push you forward. But it's about the player. The player doesn't care what I did. I think
that's right.
And I didn't, I think at the time when I was playing, it's like,
that's a fact.
I'm not going to listen to you unless you have a resume of a next big league status. Now, I don't think people care. I think they want information. They want to know that you relentlessly care about their well-being.
Yes.
And I truly believe this. They don't give two shits what I did.
That's a fact.
When I played, they want to know if I can get them to their promised land, whatever that may be. If they want to be the primary catcher on their select team, let's get them there.
Yep.
If they want to be the varsity catcher on their high school team, let's get them there. If they want to play college baseball, let's get them there. If they want to play beyond college baseball, let's get them there. And I think that's what players really, truly believe and they want right now. And that's just how I have approached it.
Dude, man, that hits home. And you know what I like talking with Tyler Goodro on the Baseball Forward podcast. Tyler, what I like about what you just explained is that's like a winner's mentality. And you don't know it when you're going through it. You're pissed. You don't know what to do. Because I went through similar stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're just constantly trying to figure it out, and what you realize is that you're being sharpened and you're being refined and you're being more empathetic, you're being more sympathetic, you're listening better to the kids because you nailed it, man. I mean, they don't care if you're an ex-big leaguer, they don't care if you're dang Barry Bonds, because if a kid goes out there and he's performing, he's the best player that ever walked on the planet. If he's struggling, he wants you to get him back to that mindset. So I love hearing that your experiences propelled you to where you're at right now, which I want to discuss right now is, man, what you do. And I want to talk about, because we got about 15 minutes or 10-15 minutes left, but I want to talk about, like, you have such a presence on social media. So like what I've learned from this stuff, I never in a million years thought I would ever be involved in social media, but I am. And like, I respect, it's a grind because it's like showing your business. But I know this is what I believe, and you can tell me you're the expert. The content has got to be accurate. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be delivered with like enthusiasm and intent. That's what your stuff is. When I watch it, I'm like, yeah, man, this is a good way to learn. So social media specifically, you told me that it's all been organic and you don't necessarily care about monetizing it because you're so concerned about just getting the right stuff out there. Talk me through like the social media and what that's all about for you, and what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish with the post and all that.
No, that's a great question. I think the way I approach it, if you look at my social media, how often do you see my face? I think is the question, because it's not about me, right? It's about how do we either make players better, or the person that's in the video, what are we trying to show, right? And giving opportunities for everybody to, take what they see and make it their own. Like, I have nothing to hide. Really. Are there some drills that I prefer to do and hold close to my chest? Absolutely. But there's nothing's proprietary out there. And that's just for me personally, that's what I like to do. I think it's being authentic. I think you talked about that too. It's like being authentic as a person and being accurate. I'll sit there and I'll watch a major league game or a college game or something like that, and I really dissect what's happening. Now, is the catcher actually doing that in the game, like what I'm thinking and what I'm articulating into a post? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. And maybe that catcher itself, which is kind of cool about it, will send me a message and we'll think, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking right there. That's cool. Man, I never even thought about that. And I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking what can help players. I've had kids in the last few weeks. Hey, could you take a look at something? What would you suggest for this? And, for me, it's more or less, it's just asking questions, I think. And it's them trusting themselves.
Wow.
But for it in general, like social media, it is a grind. I hate, honest to gosh, I've been kind of less and less each week, I think, of putting stuff out there. What I've really enjoyed doing has been actually putting my son's swings. He always takes about, I think this last year, I have a 9-year-old son, and he had about 97 different batting stances, but I love it. And like yesterday, we're out like our local, like just little league field next to our house, and I'm like, who are you hitting like? And he's like, oh, I'm hitting like Ellie De La Cruz. And so, okay,
Let's
great.
go.
And like last week, like I think it was Kyle Tucker, and you know,
Oh,
he
I
mixed
love
in some
Tucker.
Griffey, and yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, but going back to it,
Imagination. That's
yeah,
what's
it is.
you said something, man, and it hit me. Gary Ward says it all the time. Make it your own. Jim Schwanke, make
Mhm.
it your own. Own it.
So,
And you do, that's exactly what you're doing as a coach.
mhm,
You're on a discovery with these players to help them discover who they are and what their
mhm,
potential can be. And that's
mhm.
why you love it so much. Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I do, because there's, again, I think the biggest thing that you have to ask yourself as a player, as a coach, like, what are my limitations? What am I doing? Am I providing the best information possible for the player to understand what their capabilities are? Where I tell every guy, don't have a ceiling. There should never be a ceiling. The floor should just keep raising below you
Love
and
it.
stuff. Uh, as far as like, you know, and this kind of ties into our field general, our academy. We're very reps based.
Mhm.
I tell our guys this, like, you come in here, and I think I mentioned that earlier in the podcast, but like, we're very rep based. We focus heavily on mistakes. And what I mean by that is I want you to do this 100 times. And if you fail at it 99 times, that one time you're going to understand the light bulb's going to go off. And then you're going to be like, all right, I
Mm.
can adjust. I know what to do. I think there's too much of waiting for the coach to say, do this, do that, do this,
Oh,
do that. Yeah. Right. And so,
oh,
as opposed to the feel of it, what do you
yes.
feel? How do you, how do
Mm,
you,
mm.
give me the situation, talk yourself through it, and then go. What's interesting to us too, or what's interesting to me is watching this last weekend, again, going back to the camp that I did, and it just fresh in my brain and what we had the catchers do. We said, get into your best stance. Your best stance, you, not what you think we want you to be in.
Yes.
I don't know you guys. I've been here and I've known you for an hour, or I've known you for 3 hours. Get into your best stance. And it was amazing to watch these. We had some girls in there too, so it was amazing to watch these young men and young women get into their stance. And then we'd go around and like, what can't you do out of that stance? What can't you do? What are your limitations? So is that your best
Mm.
stance? Or are you just thinking to yourself like, yep, this is what I saw on TV one time from my favorite catcher? And I'm a big believer in asking people, do you watch baseball?
Yes.
If you don't watch baseball, then, or softball or whatever it might be, what do you see? What are you seeing? Talk to me. What do you know? It's not I know more, are you smarter than a fifth grader? It's like it's not that I know more than you. It's what do you know? So the adaptation of a new stance is much easier.
Yeah.
Or the way we approach something can become much easier. And so that's just kind of, again, how we've approached it. As far as the social media stuff's concerned, it's so funny. Guys have, like I said, they've reached out to me. I've had personal DMs that have said, hey, I really love what I see. And they'll ask a question, and I'll follow it up and be inquisitive to them and say, well, what do you see?
Mm.
What do you feel? Well, I feel this. Great. Can you start to formulate your own opinion of why or how or
Wow.
etc.? I think I'm a big person on why.
Yep.
That leads us to how. And I
Mm.
think a lot of guys don't ask the question why anymore. I always ask the players. I always bring it up. There's one incident, whether it's a individual, lesson with a kid, or it's our group. Do you guys understand why you're doing this? Because if you don't, then
What are we
you're
doing?
not going to understand. You're not going to grasp it. You're not going to,
Wow.
it's not going to be permanent, or it's not going to be for you to formulate your own conclusions as to what's happening right now.
I love hearing that because I think just as an assistant coach, I have a 10 and 11 and I go help. I got a buddy named Ryan Robertson who was a catcher for 9
Mhm.
years in pro ball. He got a AAA with the Marlins. They called him Robbie Red Ass because he had such a bad temper. But anyway, Rob, shout out to Rob. But he coaches and I
Mhm.
help him with. And oh, man, I'm so happy to hear what you're saying about ownership and discovering it, because owning it,
Mhm.
what do you always hear? Like I always hear, how do I get to the big leagues, or how do I become my best? Dude,
Right.
you have to love this game.
You
And
have to.
loving it is loving the stuff that you hate. And you
Mhm.
know what I mean? So when I say, man, you to be really, really good at this game, you got to love it. What does that mean to you?
I mean, as far it's I would say it's just tough because I feel like it's just second nature.
Wow.
It's as
That's
much
beautiful.
for me as um I don't function without baseball. I don't think
Whoo.
so, right? I just
Neither
don't.
do I. Neither do I.
I believe it or not,
Man,
like
powerful.
obviously I've been paying attention to our conversation, but I have a monitor right next to me and I have the baseball network on, right? Over to my left here, I have, you know, kind of like an instructional book that I put together,
Wow.
just a drill library stuff. And, I am a pretty faithful person. So I have my Bible verse in front of me for today.
What is it?
Um,
What is it?
so it's 1 John 2 verses 15 through 17. Essentially what it talks about is just that don't love what's in the world, but if you love
Mm,
God, and you pass away, the world stuff stays here,
yep.
right? But when you pass away, if love God,
Mm,
you're appreciative of everything that He's done. You again, you'll have eternal love, for your possessions in
mm,
heaven and whatnot. And um, so for me, it's just uh, again going back to it. Just like I said, it's what I do. It's an identity, so to speak. And you don't. I think some people always say, "Oh, you don't want baseball to be our identity." That's false. That's not true. Baseball is my identity. It's who I am. Like,
yes, sir.
um, it's what I'm known for, and I don't think I want people to oh, this is Tyler Goodro. He's a really good catching coach. I want people to know that I've made an impact
Yes.
on either
Mm,
their career or something that is involved in their life. Like I put a post out, one of my players, he one of the best kids I've ever trained, probably the best kid I've ever
give
trained.
him a shout out. What's his name?
His name's Hogan Jalisco.
That's
Hogan
a big
Jalisco.
league name. Hogan
Doug
Jalisco.
Hogan Jalisco.
What are
He
we doing? That's
played 3 years
amazing.
at I know, he played 3 years at Creighton, and with all the transfer portal stuff, he goes to their in-state rival, University of Nebraska, but um just started working with Hogan when he was like 12 years old.
Mm,
Still skinny kid, I would say, but like very, very scrawny, skinny kid came into our academy years ago. And we were actually just doing just individual lessons. But, I just I said, this is a post or something like that. You would never, ever think that you were going to write about somebody because this kid, it became me learning more so from him. Like,
wow.
all right, Hogan has no limits, right? I can stretch him and challenge him and do everything, and he's going to be successful. I'm going to
Mm,
try to find the hardest thing in the world, and Hogan's going to be successful for that. And then I look down and I'm like, man, I'm learning more about the position and what I need to do and how I should coach and what
mm,
I should try to implement into our training from time to time because of this kid. But again, it goes back to like my identity. I feel like is coach, right? And I think my kids understand that. I know my wife for sure has understood that. And I when I proposed to my wife, this is so funny. It's not here, of course, it's hers. But let's see, do I have a baseball somewhere around here?
I know you got that big league lettuce
Oh,
too there, Tyler.
yeah. This is actually a Jack Caglione signed ball
Let's go.
when he was at the University of Florida. But anyways, um, believe it or not, my wife was working nights. She's still in healthcare, but was working nights. And this again, just how far I take this baseball stuff. Uh, we we were like, gosh, we've known each other forever. We were semi high school sweethearts. I'll say that. Well, semi high school sweethearts. We went different paths and then reconnected. But when I proposed to my wife, she'd been begging me, I want to go hit. I want to go hit. I'm like, yeah, I really want to watch you hit. It's not going to be spectacular, but I just want to watch. First off, more or less, it was kind of a test. I want to see
how you move.
See how you move, what your athleticism looks like, because in the future when we have kids, I want to make sure that it's nothing going to be like Mia Hamm and Nomar Garcia-Parra, but I want to see how you move, right? And so it was so funny. I had this bag of baseballs, and then there was this pearl, and it had a clasp on it, and we're at my high school. It's like we had cages that were in center field, and I'm like, nobody's going to be there at Saturday at like 9 a.m. And she was working nights as a nurse, and she's working nights, and I'm like, man, she got off late or got home late or early or whatever, and I'm like, oh, she's ain't going to want to go. So I'm like pushing her and begging her, and like my mom's like, I'll be at the field, don't worry, but I have this baseball and I'm putting balls on the tee, and she's like hitting them, and she's hitting them, and then I put this ball on the tee, and I had my hand over the top, and she's like, I don't think I can hit that one. I was like, no, I know you can. I open up the class, and I don't remember what she said, and I have no clue what I said. But like the baseball had the ring inside of it, so I had it specifically made, and it was like, baseball has been the center of my life, or was it baseball? Yeah, it was like, baseball has been the center of my life. Now you're whatever.
That's I can't really, hey, dude. But I get it. Sentiment. Yeah. That's brilliant, because the ring is inside the baseball, which means she's more important than the baseball.
Exactly. Dude. So for me personally, it's like I said, baseball has been my identity. It will probably forever be my identity. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not a disciplinary when it comes to my kids. Like, I love my kids, and I'm trying to be the best husband I can be. I try to be the best follower of Christ, and I can be, and be the best son that I can be, and be the best business owner I can be, and provide exceptional customer service in what I do. So that's me.
Man, I feel like I need to move to Omaha, and I think maybe we should hang out and become friends, because I feel like there's this good energy, and I feel it, man. I want to say this to you. Baseball is my identity too. And I was told a long time, and I dealt with some crap. I actually quit, walked away from the game year 2 in pro ball, stupid, whatever. But I didn't know how to make it a healthy part of my identity. It was my God, and by the grace of God, he used all my experiences to put me where I'm at here today. But I love hearing you say that, because it is okay to have baseball as an identity, because if you love it, why not?
Right.
I want to finish with 2 questions quick. And I want to say, talking with Tyler Goodro here on episode 67 of the Baseball Forward podcast. So Baseball Forward, our motto is elevating the next generation. It just matters, man. I want to watch these guys do it the right way. I want to help whatever we can do, whatever. Right. So when I say advice to players coming up, Tyler Goodro, when I say elevating the next generation, what is your advice to players just in general in the game of baseball?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me is, number one, being okay to fail, having the sense that everybody's going to fail. This game is a tough game. So understanding that, each day that we're gonna be challenged, that it's okay we're gonna learn from our failures. I think that's one of the biggest things that I think players don't understand. They expect to win. They expect to be successful in everything that they do when it comes to, and that's just not how this game works. So I think it's being okay with who you are as a player, understanding that develop doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a year. I'm coaching kind of like somewhat that I think it applies to this, but I told a group of family I'm coaching a new team, my son's team, will be 10U. I think everybody wants everything now. And I think it's understanding the patience. I think you know this as a coach, right? Development doesn't happen tomorrow. Like where you're at it, where you've coached, college baseball. I've coached college baseball. We're in a win now mentality. In professional baseball, in youth baseball, high school baseball, it's about it's about the process.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't happen overnight where we can fail. I don't like using the word anymore, or the phrase 7 out of 10. You fail 7, 10 times, you're a good player. I think about when you fail those 7 times, what are you learning that's going to get you to that, those 3 successful times? What are you learning out of it?
Wow. Love it.
There's too much. There's not enough IQ. There's not enough passion like you and I have for the game anymore, I don't think. And I
Wow.
think it's building that. It's getting the kids engaged more.
Man.
One shameless thing that shameless plug. I'm a part of a group called Six Tool, and our
Six tool.
Six Tool, yeah,
Okay.
Six Tool. And it's a baseball IQ app. We're trying to improve the IQ of the next generation. There's too much of no. I think there's so many different pockets where we're at, and I know I'm overextending and
No, don't worry. Hey, we're good.
this
We're good.
answer.
We're good. Nope. Keep it going.
But you have the showcase people. You have the kids that are probably not right at that line yet of where they're at, and you have the kids that are really talented physically but don't understand the game mentally or situationally, and I think that's just tough. So it's a process, and the more times that we can fail, the more times we learn. But again, it's within those 7 times that you fail. What are you learning? How are you understanding? What do you identify about who you are as a player? What can you do? So, I think for me, for the next, for as far as the next generation's concerned, be comfortable with who you are. Understand that you have time.
Yes.
What's your feel? And be a lifelong learner. Ask questions and understand the why.
I cannot wait to have Coach Ward listen to this. You sound like Gary Ward. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Like this is what he's 84. He is so passionate about learning. And Jim Schwanke, he's 70. He's so passionate about learning. I'm 45, and I'm like, these old heads with dude, I've got they're Mount Rushmore to me. I'm like, I want to be learning because why would you want to stop? Man, that's really good stuff. I've got one last thing. I got to know. I like music, man. I got a feeling you like music too. What was your walkout stuff like? Like, if did you have walkout music back then? I know I maybe I played when it was on the fringe, all coming up. What was your walkout song?
Gosh, it's fluctuated.
Let's go.
In high school, we didn't have walkout stuff, but I remember saying this one time. It's like one of the coaches asked me, "Gosh, man, like, why are you like just in the zone?" I said, "I don't know. What do you do?" He was like, what is your prep to the batter's box?" I said, "Well, I sing to myself 'Sympathy for the Devil' by the Rolling Stones." He goes, "So you're summoning the devil when you hop into the box?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." But that was high school. It was a little bit different at that time. I think
Please allow me to introduce myself. Oh
yeah,
my
right.
gosh, let's go.
I'm trying to think. I've had rock, I've had rap.
What would you when I say walkout song, what's the one that comes to your mind right away? What was the rap song? What was the rap song?
So it was Next Episode, Dr. Dre.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah. So
Great one.
just like I more or less, not so much the words or the lyrics, but the beats. Here's what got me fired up.
Yeah.
Like I was watching this Netflix series now. It's called Unreal. It's the WWE one. Like I grew up just loving WWE, WWF, whatever. And like I know nothing about the new WWE stuff, right? Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, by the way. But
Amen.
I was listening to this last night. I'm like, man, I'm jacked up. Like I'm laying in bed. It's probably 11 o'clock at night. My wife's asleep, and I'm like got goosebumps. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's go do this. Let's drop some, Stone Cold Stunners and stuff like that.
Let's go.
Right? I was like, I just beats. So believe it or not, there was one year I really liked. It was a beat. It wasn't necessarily but I would say I'm a country guy by heart. And I came, the only time I came into the country was when I started playing baseball. But the one beat that I will forever, like, I think people will forever kind of synonymously like hold true to me and like associate it with it is Rocky Four, the Drago walkout.
Oh,
Just like
yes.
that music, it's like kind of weird, you
Yes.
know.
I know
Um,
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, just the music and of that, like when he comes in and the smoke's pouring and he's inside Russia, you know, it's just something
Yep.
about that. I was like, people are like, "What the hell is that music?" Like, you know, I'm like, it's scary, right? I mean,
Yeah.
closers got some crazy stuff. Like I was
Yeah, they
watching that
do.
Duran came in,
Unbelievable. I had
unbelievable.
goosebumps last night watching. I was like, wow.
Like I'm scared shitless if I'm getting to the
Yes.
batter's box right now,
Like,
you
who
know.
is
And you
this
got
guy? Just
woo.
everything swing and
So
miss.
yeah,
Man,
exactly.
Tyler Goodrow, what a blast, my friend. Hey, let me say
Yeah,
this. Well, I definitely want to have you come back on sometime in the future, baseball forward. You are like this, you are exactly what baseball forward represents.
appreciate
I'm
it.
happy to be your friend. You're my friend no matter what. We're friends
Yeah.
now. But you're doing it right, man, and well done. Keep doing your thing. I encourage everyone listening to episode 67 of the Baseball Forward podcast to go follow him at Goodrow Catching. Tyler, I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds, and then I'll say bye.
Well, no, number one, I appreciate this. Anytime get two like-minded people on the same, you know, soundboard here, I think it really, first off, it energizes me.
Yeah,
It tells me that there's a lot of people out there that have their right head in mind. You being one of them, of course, and why I'm saying this to you. So I'm giving you as much props as I can. I mean, this is just fantastic. I really enjoy sharing my experiences, but I also love listening and learning from you guys like you, other people and guests that you've had on. But I think there's so much negativity that's in our game, and I think there's also so much positivity in there. And I appreciate you for number one, allowing me to kind of get my story out there, voice
yeah.
some of my opinions, and appreciate you obviously having this platform. So thank you very much, my friend.
Awesome, dude. Tyler Goodrow, episode 67 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Bye.